from Jerusalem, and this video is about the really it's a background for an interview with Gabe Pressman. So I'll begin with the first. Shalom, Gabe. It's 22 years, 23 years since you interviewed me in the Ramada Hotel in Jerusalem. Things have changed. Okay, the subject of this video, Gabe, is it's in anticipation of a series of interviews that have already been taped. Content for them is already taped and on the YouTube. Specifically in this context, it is the meta-narrative of 9/11. That context is the end of men and mankind's exile globally. And the analogy that I'll give you to understand it is from physics. It's called the collapse of the local reality. And what was the local reality? Giving to receive. You give, you get. Okay. That's the local reality that collapsed. And then it has a particular manifestation. It began in 1991. We saw the USSR collapse. What was its local reality? Communism. Next year, 1992, Yugoslavia. 1995, Israel. 2001, the Twin Towers collapsed. Lebanon, with Harari's murder, and the tsunami, and the Ba'athist regime in 2003, which was before the tsunami. Okay, let's keep it in sequence. So these events are depicting a sequence of the collapse of local reality, and its meta-narrative is the end of men and mankind's exile. And more specifically, the 3,000 blessed souls that we honor and remember, and we reach out and we console the families. The event of 9/11, its meta-narrative, there's the official narrative. We know the official narrative of the hijackings of the planes, the crashing into the Twin Towers, of two of them, one in Pennsylvania and one in the Pentagon, etc., etc. And God only knows the full details, but the official narrative deals with those events rather credibly and accurately. But that's the 1%. The meta-narrative is the meaning. The collapse of the Twin Towers, the end of the Klippah, which is man's duality. And in his mind, he has a Yetzer Hara Yetzer Tov, and he creates in his mind an artificial Klippah of his good inclination and evil inclination, which he substitutes psychologically in mind, and that's the model of giving to receive that blinds him to his authentic self. This model of giving to receive is what collapsed on 9/11, and this signaled and is in history the end of men and mankind's exile. So this is a very significant hidden blessing and it will give great comfort, I'm sure, to the families that lost their loved ones, to know that an event so significant in the history of men and mankind took place on that particular day. Having said that, the evil is always turned to good, and the Creator of creation, it says in the Bible, who can say, what are you doing, what are you accomplishing? Now let's move on with the sequence of the meta-narrative of 9/11. Now that we understand that the local reality collapsed around the globe, the question is, what does it mean, and what do we do, and what comes after it? Well, we listen first and we listen only to the God of the cosmos, and we will hear and we will see and we will understand who we really are. Now, having said that, let's go to specifics. What comes after the collapse of the local reality? The quantum reality. In physics, if you collapse the local reality, you have the quantum reality. And the quantum reality in this context is receiving to give. Receiving what? Receiving the authentic you. To give the authentic you to your loved one, to your spouse, your family, your community, your nation. That's what comes after. The context of that is Humanomics. And Humanomics is the East-West convergence model, because both East and West systems have collapsed. Humanomics is what comes after. It's comprised of two paradigms. The first, its central organizing principle is receiving to give, which I just described what it is and what it means. and that's the quantum reality of redemption, receive and give. And the second is the new economic paradigm. That's Barack Obama's, the DNC's new platform committee will provide that as the campaign strategy of what is promised, that the Democrats will mandate. They will make it the national platform. They will mandate in law the development of a world-class global technological infrastructure, create tens of millions of jobs to make America the most competitive economy in the world for the next century. Beginning at the end of year 1, it will create tens of thousands of jobs a month, and by the end of year 2 and 3, years 2, actually about somewhere between the two, the indexed average income will be double what it presently is. It will continue creating tens of thousands of jobs a month of domestic content through years 11 and 12 until we reach full employment. It will eliminate the national debt. The supply side investment will require $4 to $5 trillion of investment amortized over the life of the project, 20 years. It will triple. It will take us from the 14 trillion level of GDP to somewhere between 45 and 50 trillion between years 18 through 21, with a number of variables involved. It will triple the purchasing power and the value of the U.S. dollar. It will eliminate the national debt. It will eliminate the trade deficit. It will eliminate the Social Security deficit. It will provide national health insurance for all Americans, cradle to grave, free. It will provide free education for everyone. It's a win-win situation. It will retool, re-educate, and retrain the entire domestic workforce in America and transition the economy. It's a win-win situation. Over 60% of the investment will be made by G9 partners. The other 40% will be from America. It will, after years 11 and 12, and when America's running at full employment, it will reach out to the G9 and the LDCs in particular and transfer technology, education, training, literacy, preventative medicine in respect of AIDS, and sustainable human development in terms of managing and developing a sustainable food supply. It's a win-win situation. The global technological industry will also, in its full maturity, transform the structure of the new world economy, and in particular terms, it will end the climate crisis, the climate change crisis, by halting the 24/7 365 movement of hundreds of millions of people on the planet unnecessarily, and it will reverse that trend, and it will restore the macro global climate equilibrium, atmospheric equilibrium to its natural bounds and limits. It will do a number of other things that are beyond this video, but far more importantly, Gabe, what we're talking about is Humanomics is the post collapse of the local area. The east-west systems have collapsed. What is left converges to the middle. So what do we do next? We deconstruct ground zero on the individual, family, communal, and national level. This applies to you, Gabe, your family, your community, New York City. New York City's never heard anything remotely articulating what you've just heard about the meta-narrative. But that's what we're faced with. We're all of us, the end of men and mankind's exile is not an option. It is imposed. It's now. It's required, and it operates on 4 levels: the psycholinguistic, the cognitive, behavioral, and psychosocial levels, with the individual, the family, the community, and the nation. This is where we're going. This is why I support Barack Obama. This is the plan and the program based upon the international content. This derives from world-class science. I'm the author of the trilogy Humanomics, 2,500 pages in its 5th draft, with a few hundred graphics that will be published on the web. This is a preliminary video for a series of interviews that I've been already given and made, and so it provides the background. And I thank you for your interest, and I look forward to seeing you. And thank you, and we'll talk again. Shalom. From Jerusalem, I'm Yehoshua Ya'acov, formerly Michael O'Donnell. Thank you. Shalom.